to miss that one.
How much of a concern, though, that they didn't quite get out of second gear?
Yeah.
Because it's all about momentum at this point of the season, and of course with what's happening on Saturday.
Absolutely.
And it's a small matter of, they could end their, search for a first trophy in 10 years. They're only 2 wins away in the FA Cup.
Yeah, and it's on the back of a very poor performance, yes. Albeit Man City. I know I keep going on about that, but Man City can do that to anyone. But they are on the back of 2. That's a poor performance tonight. That's not a good performance from the Tottenham team with that amount of quality in it. But Alan's right, they had their eye on the weekend. Obviously, they have had their eye on the FA Cup semi-final on Saturday. But you cannot, as a footballer, just turn it on and off. You have to go with momentum. They are certainly not bouncing into this FA Cup semi-final against Manchester United. United have got to do it tomorrow. They've got to go and play Bournemouth away. So they're going to want to improve on that terrible performance they had at the weekend. Yeah. And then it's the confidence boost. If they do tomorrow and they get the job done, they pick up no injuries, you would think they would have more confidence than Tottenham.
It certainly makes for a big few days for the Tottenham manager. Here is Mauricio Pochettino.
Mauricio, what did you make of it?
Confirmed of a top 4 finish. How big a point is that to the cause?
Yeah, as he said, it wasn't ideal, but they just didn't do enough to warrant getting 3 points this season. They didn't create enough. I thought they were slow and sluggish and never really got out of second gear. But having said that, it is a point. It does take them an extra point away. That's 8 points away from Chelsea now, and who are in 5th. So it could be a big point for them and a good point.
It takes them to within 3 points of second place Manchester United. And we've heard Jose Mourinho this season almost motivate his own players at Old Trafford that second is the best. We want to be the next best to City. Is that a motivational tool that Mauricio Pochettino will be using with his players between now and
well, they finished second before, haven't they? Yeah. So they want to make progress and they want to try and get there. No one's catching Man City this year. From a long way out. We could have said that 2 months ago. They were quite clearly set in stone they were going to win the Premier League. But Mauricio wants to finish as high as he possibly can. You don't want to finish 4th.
How's he going to go?
You want to finish 3rd or 2nd, because you don't want to qualify, So, it does make a difference. I mean, they're on the right track. It's not at the end of the world.
I think we've listened to Pochettino say this year that it's more important to get into the top 4 than win a trophy. I think both are equally as important. Saturday is a huge game for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. We keep on hearing about them having to win trophies to keep this squad together, to keep their best players together. Saturday is a great opportunity to get to a final in the FA Cup, and it would be huge for them to do that.
Looking ahead at what's on the horizon now for Tottenham, Tim, how do they navigate forward? How do they negotiate?
Now, these fixtures are very favourable. I mean, take the FA Cup out of it for the moment, but you couldn't wish to have a remaining 4 games than them ones there. But as we say, they could be in an FA Cup final. So do they rest players? They might fall correct. I mean, by the time they have to play Leicester at home or Newcastle at home, they might already be in the FA Cup final and they might already have secured 4th place. We don't know. But you would like to, if you could pick 4 games, I would pick them 4 league games to finish with.
It is very difficult to predict come the end of the season. Take West Bromwich Albion's result at Old Trafford. No one in football would have predicted them going to Old Trafford and winning 1-0. So it's tricky. As Tim says, they just might be in the semi-final, as we saw in the final. Sorry, if they are, then as we saw tonight, it could be difficult because it's impossible not to have one eye on the bigger picture, which obviously will be an FA Cup final if they were to get through.
The other tie involves sides with other things on their mind as well, of course. It's Chelsea against Southampton. But will Mauricio Pochettino go gung-ho? Will he go his strongest starting 11 against United now? There's no excuse, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely.
But then who from today will have given him something to think about and be featured? Lucas Moura.
Before that, Chelsea have got to do a job. They're away at Burnley, so they've got to win that game. If they don't win, they've got to pick up maximum points, and it takes the deficit down to 5, and then they're in touching distance. It might give him something to think about, but surely he will put his strongest team out against Manchester United and try to get an FA Cup final. Alan's right. This club needs to win a trophy. They are making progress steadily over the years he's been at the club.
Yeah.
If you ask Daniel Levy which one would he want, he would tell you Champions League. Pochettino, possibly the same, because he would get it in the ear from that chairman.
From his chairman.
If you ask the players, if you ask the fans, they want to win silverware.
There's no arguing against that, is there?
No, I think Tim's absolutely right. I don't think you can argue about that. I think in an ideal world, they'd obviously take 4th or 3rd and the FA Cup as well, which The FA Cup this weekend is equally as important for Tottenham, for Manchester United, for Chelsea. Not so much Southampton, although they'd love to win it. But all those three big clubs have to win it, have to win the FA Cup for different reasons. For United to win it and finish second, it would be a successful season, progress. For Tottenham to win it and get in the top four, again, very much progression. And Chelsea, because of what they haven't done this season on the back of their performances last season, won the league, they've got to answer to a lot of people because a lot of their players, their top players, have gone missing again.
Yeah, and Tottenham will look at the United ties being the hardest maybe on their route through to winning the FA Cup. Get past United, either Chelsea or Southampton in the final. They've obviously beaten Chelsea already once this season.
They have, yeah, and Chelsea beat them last year, in the cup competition. So it's the worst draw possible for them. They're going to have to beat the best if you're going to win this competition. And Chelsea have to beat Southampton. There's no guarantee of that. So no, they're going to have to win it. If they're going to win it, they're going to have to win it the hard way. But I would like to. If I was a betting man, I would say they'll win the FA Cup and they'll finish in fourth.
I don't think they'll have anything to fear against Manchester United. The way they played against United at Wembley in the league game. Had no fear, played very well, comfortably beat them, I think, and they should take confidence from that. So nothing to fear against Manchester United.
But they need to start, and they need to start the game as well as it's impossible to start as well as they did at Man United in the league. They scored after 30 seconds or something like that, but they would like something like that again. But what they need to do is get to some real zest in their play again. I thought it was very static tonight, and I'll say it again. As a professional footballer, it's hard to turn it on and off.
Yeah.
You need to be in a rhythm, and I hope they get their minds cleared of them two performances and show a performance what they're capable of doing.
There's lots resting, really, on Manchester United's league game before the cup semi-final against... I mean, they've got Bournemouth, of course, as you mentioned, later on in the week. Reports we're hearing, of course, on these shores that Jose Mourinho could well be contemplating dropping the likes of Paul Pogba, Alexis Sanchez, Mata and Herrera. I mean, after what they... Of course, provided against West Brom at the weekend.
Well,
you wouldn't blame him. That?
You wouldn't blame him on the performances we've seen at the weekend. There's all of them could be up for being dropped. There wasn't many who put their hand up and said that they were a good performance. Especially Sanchez. I think he's under immense pressure. Pogba. They're not alone. It could have been anyone who got brought off that field at the weekend. They're going to need to improve as well. Tottenham would like them to turn up with that sort of performance. What they turned in against West Brom at the weekend.
There's only so many chances you can give players as a manager to say, come on, I'm hoping. And Mourinho now is hoping more than expecting performances. You don't know which United are going to turn up. Is the United that performed so well in the second half against Manchester City? Or is the United that played in the first half against them that should have been 4-5 down? Or the United that played against West Bromwich Albion? If whoever Mourinho leaves out this Saturday in the FA Cup semi-final, you've always got the right to go knock on the manager's door and ask the question, why? Yeah. Whoever he leaves out this Saturday can have no complaints, no qualms whatsoever after their performance against West Bromwich Albion.
My worry is the Mourinho factor. Does he ever end a season empty-handed?
No. And his mentality is very different in trophy cup competitions than it is to Mauricio Pochettino's, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He is judged on silverware. He knows that. Forget about developing a club and taking it in the right direction, a long-term project. The project for Mourinho is silverware every single year, and he delivers.
Will that make all the difference for United, do you think, this season, winning that FA Cup?
I think it would make a huge difference because from where they finished last season to where they are now, if they finish second and if they win the FA Cup, no one can say that's not a good season. 2 trophies in his first season, 1 trophy in his second season, the FA Cup, and getting him into the Champions League again, that will be seen as progression. Then he'll look to the summer to make changes that he undoubtedly has to make because he has to get rid of 3 or 4 players from that squad, that team, to bring 3 or 4 other big hitters in to try and make a difference, to try and claw that gap back from Manchester City, because that's also been a huge problem from this season, is that how well the neighbours have been doing. Because most weeks throughout the season, we've been eulogising how well Manchester City, not only their performances, but their goals, their results, everything about the football club, Manchester City, has been positive. Now that in a turn has turned the pressure up on Manchester United and Mourinho. But as I go back to my point, and Tim made it there, Mourinho is a winner. He delivers trophies. He delivered 2 last season. Can he deliver another one this season? And I wouldn't put it past him.